Unemployment of young white people has fallen by 1% since 2011. Unemployment of young people from ethnic minority backgrounds has risen by almost 50%.
Since 2011?
Both since 2011.
I wonder if they were
So
5 years previous as well. If they've been like rising continually, or if it's just been from 2011 to now.
there's been
What
this,
it would be if it's like that. Because you think from, like, especially if you're looking back at the United States, if you think back to not just the institutional racism, but like the proper bigotry, like the unemployment rates would be up here anyways.
yeah.
So it would have fallen at some point. To a little bit. To rise
Yeah.
and fall and rise, and I'm wondering what the falls and rises of that would be. What's it say?
You can pick up a fashion magazine and see a white model on the cover 77.25% of the time. A black model features 7.07% of the time. There's also something to do with like white passing as well. Like if a black woman has I would say the setup like beauty. If she doesn't have like, has anyone watched Orange is the New Black? There was like an actress called Crazy Eyes.
Yeah.
By beauty standards, for
Yeah.
a black woman, she's considered ugly as hell. She's talented. She's a trained opera singer.
Yeah.
But like, they much prefer to stick someone who looks like Beyonce on the cover as opposed to
Yeah.
an equally talented woman.
I think as well as obviously the fact that you've got white people that are running these magazines and choosing white people and all this sort of thing. I think with black culture there is a sense of a kind of shame, and I only say this because I'm on this Facebook page which is called like the positive black images they never show you. I don't know if you guys have, but there was this one post, which is ironic because they're not actually always posting positive images. A lot of them are not positive, and one of them was like an image of a black guy who gets with a white girl, and it was like, when you get with this instead of like a black girl because you're ashamed of your color. And like I was like, is that actually a thing? And I was reading through the comments, and there's so many black guys that end up dating white girls because they want to date above them. Like they don't want kids with really dark skin the same as them or with a darker woman.
So they don't want
really
to
interesting.
date someone with darker skin colour.
No.
The only thing I have like personally experience-wise is when I was young, like really young. I remember all of my friends weren't white,
Yeah.
and I remember them being like, oh, just like in the summer, how their skin gets darker when they go out in the sun, and how they didn't want that to happen. And I was like, I remember being like really young and being like why?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
Yeah.
get it. Like, why?
No.
Why is that? But then
I
like
find like
linked to what you're saying as
there's a
well.
lot of people these days who kind of like want the black culture without the blackness. Like they want to get fake tan, they want to have like big lips, and they want to stereotypical traits of black culture, but without the black people.
Yeah.
Like take the Kardashians for example,
Yeah.
and like things like that. And when people, it's like a recent article in Vegas ring, and it's like it was cornrows on a white woman, and they were like, what they were doing on a white woman, I mean, and they didn't say, oh, it's cornrows. They, oh yeah, it's boxer braids, guys. They were like rebranding something on black culture to make it not sound black.
I think it's all like coming to a head at the moment,
Yeah.
massively. So we're far more aware of it. Like I feel
I think
far
more people
more aware
are
of it
like
now.
Yeah.
more happy to call other people out on the shit and be like, actually, that's racist, or fighting cool.
I was watching Bill Mayer, and I usually love his stuff. Like he's there's a few things I don't agree with, like his policies on Islam. That's just crazy. But most of the time, I'm pretty in line with what his views are. And they were discussing Beyonce's dance at the Super Bowl, which was the day after she released her song Formation, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Beyonce's actually black!" Like people in America, it's like she was so adapted to white culture that when she had a song that was not one meant for white people, they just flipped out. They just didn't know how to deal with it. And Bill Mayer, like, oh God, I can't remember what it was he said exactly, but oh yeah, it was about how there was a state dinner, like with Obama leaving and everything, and how it was like $100 a plate, and how there was an unproportional amount of white people, like there were not a lot of black people there, and Bill Mayer, he said, well, do they have to be everywhere? And I was like, she's like saying that, and wow. And there was a white guy next to him that also flipped out. The black guy across the table, it didn't show him flipping out. But then Bill Mayer kind of looks like, goes, "What? I'm racist for saying they." And it's like, no, that's not why. And it just
always me how like people can argue saying, "Oh, I'd prefer to employ someone based on the academic merit of like skin." And I'm like, I understand that, but do you not think it's a problem like why there isn't enough people in that? So, for example, there's not enough women in politics or STEM fields, kind of things like that. It's like, can you, instead of saying academic merit over colour, skin, or sex, it's just like, well, if you look further, why?
Well, there's an institutional pattern.
But I think it also comes
that
along
kind of
with
thing.
like the kind of psychology of how you raise your children in the first place. Like I think because of that, for instance, like my opinion on like more females during art subjects than STEMs, like for me personally, is I was very interested in sciences, and I personally decided that I would rather be STEM, whereas there might be people that are kind of raised, oh, because you're a girl, you're not going to be very adept at science, because that's very rational thinking, and that's what guys do, and it's the same thing with the kind of black jobs, you know, it's like, oh, well, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, or like in America especially, where they have ghettos, and like they physically can't afford to send their kids to college.
Mm-hmm.
In America,
There's also, in America it's massively different, isn't it? But there's also something about the fact that we are 3 white women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, we have to be careful,
now.
because like,
Yeah.
we're white as fuck, and we're
Yeah.
talking about issues we will never face.
No, I know.
And it's hard to like begin to understand from somebody in black culture's point of view, like.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, we don't even have to think about the fact we're white. Like, it's only recently come into public attention that, oh, okay, I am actually white. There are issues outside of my white girl circle, like.
Yeah.
Whereas there are people, you know, minorities, whether they're black or from the Middle East or whatever, and they're here in this very white country, like, they're forced to see it, whether they like it or not.
I think adapting to like refugees and things, they are basically adapting from what is a very non-liberal country to a very liberal country. That can be quite like, whoa.
I feel like on a personal level, like I've never been aware of race or the issues around race being an issue for me, probably because I am white. But like up until now, like very much so now in our culture, I've never really thought about it. Now I find myself thinking about it more. Am I like becoming more aware of my own institutional racism that I've taken on?
I find,
And it makes me feel like ashamed that that's part of a culture that I've grown up in.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to like feel, oh, why? Well, again, I'm white. So you don't need to feel like, oh, I feel terrible. You just have to be like, okay, I wasn't aware of things I did in the past. You have to just basically say, what can I do now to be essentially anti-racist? You know, it's like there is probably so many like arguments from like whiny people on the internet who are like, oh, Black Lives Matter just makes me feel so white and guilty, and I'm like, it's not about you, mate. It's really not about you. You have to just like really be aware.
I think that's where it should start. You should start thinking about how you are and what your
What can we practically do? Like, I feel like now that I've suddenly come into awareness, like,
Basically, how
Same
I
in
see
fantastic
it.
one
It's
was.
to do with issues regarding, I don't know, race. You can understand and you have to respect views, but you can't talk, right, I know this. It's like you don't know this. You understand it, but you don't
Yeah.
know.
Appreciate that it's an
It's like
issue,
you
yeah.
don't stand
It's
up
like
in front of
sympathy
a black
versus
woman to
empathy.
speak about racism. It's like,
That's really sad.
yeah, that's kind of like in America as well. Like, Black Lives Matter. Oh, there's a post on like Whisper app or something, and the Whisper company actually shared it. It was like, yeah, I get Black Lives Matter, but like, it's like I hate.
All lives matter.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you're comfortable when it's not about you. Like people are actually getting shot and killed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just no
Thought
like.
of Donald Trump running the country is.
You won't win. It'll be
No.
like dancing. It'll be like Strictly Come Dancing, Dancing with the Stars. Where like you vote for the really terrible person to get to the finals, but then they never win because like, you want the good one to win.
It's just scary that it's even a thing that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's quite scary how it's like. Oh yeah, that person across the road, really racist. Actually, they're just giving them like a. It's like a.
It's just scary the effect he has on people as well. Like when you look at videos of rallies and shit.
He's incredible. He's not really charismatic, but he knows how to control the crowd.
Yeah,
Which is what Hitler did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this video actually where this Democrat had taken a Trump leaflet and had replaced the quotes with Hitler quotes and asked people who supported Trump, oh, do you agree with these quotes? And at the end of the video revealed, oh, actually Hitler said this. And these people were like, well, if Trump said it, I agree with it. And you're just like,
Citation needed. It's
Yeah,
up to
There's like this like I was talking to Helena about it. Like there's this like in our society today. There's this awareness of everything that's going on, so much more so to the point where like we have the ability to talk more freely about these kinds of things, which is amazing. But then at the same time, you get the backlash of it from people who are less willing or less open-minded or less informed to talk about it, which is like where all the people that support Trump come from. Like there's this like outcry that's like, oh, how dare you challenge everything that we've already known. And so much more so now than like the past few years, because it kind of like went into a lull and now everything's like gender is more fluid and
great.
yeah, and it's all great. It's all great from our point of view, but then at the same time,
You just
the challenge of that is
like,
the fact that
how they in a space they used to be so comfortable with, and
Yeah.
actually being like shaking up. So I can like understand on that level. Because if someone was like, well, actually, everything you've ever known is going to be turned upside down. It's changing. I can make people really fucking uncomfortable. So I can understand them on that level to the limits which they are going, where it's like straight up racism and all of that.
there's like understanding a difficulty to deal with something, and there's a line that's crossed when it's ignoring humanity,
Oh,
like being
definitely.
like when it becomes being inhumane as well. Like if you find something difficult, you find something difficult, but there's no need to like kill people about it. Like
I know.